Hey everybody, I'm Kendall, and welcome to Kendallville Hoops, your destination for all things women's basketball. The Sparks made a large number of changes to their backcourt specifically this year. Will it be enough to turn their luck around? Let's get into it. Let's start with the 2024 season, a season that was characterized as Murphy's Law. What can go wrong will go wrong. The Sparks finished the regular season in last place with an 8-32 record. On top of the record, the Sparks suffered from a slew of injuries. Azrae Stevens missed half the season due to surgery. Lexi Brown was sidelined due to Crohn's disease for most of the season. Julie Allemond also missed the whole season due to surgery. And the last straw was in June, 15 games into the season, when Cameron Brink tore her ACL. But even in a difficult year, there were a couple bright spots. Rickea Jackson emerged as a promising draft pick, showing a lot of potential. And through it all, Dearica Hamby was a consistent force, one of the undeniable high points for the team. In the offseason, 2024 head coach Curt Miller accepted a job with the Dallas Wings as their new GM. Following his departure, Lynn Roberts was named as the new head coach this year. Roberts isn't new to leadership. She brings 22 seasons of head coaching experience, racking up a career record of 383 wins and 290 losses. Her 9 years at Utah were particularly noteworthy, ranking second in overall offensive rating, third in effective field goal percentage, and fifth in three-pointers made. To put it in perspective, in the 23-24 season, only 5% of Utah's shots came from the less efficient mid-range area, compared to the 17% the WNBA teams average. This signals a clear, analytics-driven offensive style, and she's familiar with WNBA-level talent, having coached WNBA players like Alyssa Peely and Megan Huff. Next, let's get into who the Sparks lost from the roster. First up, Lexi Brown was traded to the Seattle Storm along with the Sparks' third-round pick in exchange for the Storm's 2025 and 2027 second-round picks. The 5'9" guard was in the final year of her contract, and some speculated that the Sparks made the move due to uncertainty around her health. As I mentioned earlier, she's missed a majority of last season battling Crohn's disease. During her 3 seasons with the Sparks, Brown averaged 9.2 points, 2.6 assists, with a career-high three-point percentage of 41.5 in 2023. Her departure means losing a skilled shooter and consistent defender, which she's already started to show this season in Seattle. Zia Cooke also moved on from the Sparks. She was waived in February and later that month signed a training camp contract with the Seattle Storm, because everyone wants to leave the Sparks and go to the Storm, I guess. The 5'9" guard played 2 seasons with the Sparks, appearing in 68 games and averaging 4.3 points per 12 minutes. With Zia's departure, the Sparks lose a promising future point guard who showed defensive potential and flashes of scoring ability, a valuable piece for a team looking to build. Veteran Kia Nurse chose to sign with the Chicago Sky in free agency. The 6-foot guard contributed 7.6 points per game in 20.3 minutes last year, shooting 38.8% from the field. Last year, Nurse also ranked 26th in the league in three-point percentage. For the Sparks, Kia's exit means losing a versatile and reliable veteran scorer, a capable perimeter shooter, and an experienced presence in the backcourt. However, after her play so far this season with the Sky, the decision by the Sparks to let Nurse go seems to have been a smart one. Leroux was also part of the blockbuster trade to acquire Kelsey Plum, as she was traded to the Seattle Storm. The 6'7" center averaged 5.1 points and 3.7 rebounds in 14 minutes per game. Individually, her departure means the Sparks lose some size and a defensive rebounding presence off the bench. But the incoming frontcourt players make up for that. Stephanie Talbot was selected by the Golden State Valkyries in this year's expansion draft. The 6'2" forward averaged 4.6 points and 2.6 rebounds, shooting 43% from the field and 36% from the three-point range last season. Losing Talbot to the Valkyries means the Sparks lose a versatile forward who can offer depth and contribute on both ends of the court. And finally, Laisha Clarendon announced their retirement from the WNBA following the end of last season. The 5'9" guard averaged 8 points, 2.5 rebounds, and 3 assists per game. With Clarendon retiring, the Sparks lose a veteran leader and a respected voice in the locker room. Following these departures, the players cut from training camp were Shanice Swain, a 5'9" guard from Australia, Alyssa Utsby, a 6'1" undrafted free agent guard forward from North Carolina, Liadu King, a 6-foot shooting guard from Notre Dame, drafted at number 28 in this year's draft, Maria Klindakova, formerly Maria Vadiva, a 6'4" forward drafted by the Sparks in 2018. Anneli Maley, a 6'2" forward from Australia drafted by the Sky in 2022. And finally, Aari McDonald, a 5'6" guard who was traded to the Sparks in 2024 from the Dream. Aari was just recently signed on a hardship contract for the Indiana Fever. Alright, now that we've covered who's left, let's talk about the familiar faces returning to the Sparks from last season's roster. These are the players providing some continuity, and in many cases carrying big responsibilities. First up, it's Cameron Brink. The 6'4" forward's rookie season was tragically cut short to just 15 games after she tore her left ACL. In that brief time, she already made an impact, averaging 7.5 points, 5.3 rebounds, and an impressive 2.3 blocks. There have been reports on ESPN suggesting she could potentially be back as early as June this season. However, I believe the team might be better off if she waits until she's fully healthy next year. And frankly, at the rate the team's currently going, her return this season probably isn't going to make a significant difference in their playoff contention anyway. Next is Rae Burrell. The 6'2" guard played in 37 games last year, averaging 5.9 points and 1.8 rebounds in 15.6 minutes per game. Also, she ranked 26th in the league in free throw percentage. Her performance in Unrivaled this year seemed to earn her more playing time heading into the season. Unfortunately, she's currently sidelined by a knee injury sustained in the first game of the season and isn't expected back until around June 29th. A cornerstone of the team, Dearica Hamby returns as a consistent force. The 6'3" forward played all 40 games last year, putting up career-high stats: 17.3 points, 9.2 rebounds, 3.5 assists, and 1.7 steals per game, while shooting over 51% from the field. She also tallied a career-high 16 double-doubles last season. She was a league leader in multiple categories in 2024, and she's picked up right where she left off this season, currently ranking 8th in points, 7th in field goal percentage, 12th in rebounds, 17th in assists, and 6th in steals through the first 9 games. She truly is a defensive and offensive powerhouse, one of the best in her position. Another key returner is 6'2" forward Rickea Jackson. She had a strong rookie season last year, playing all 40 games and averaging 13.4 points and 3.9 rebounds, while shooting a solid 45.6% from the field. She impressively ranked as the league leader at 30th in points and 19th in field goal, 3-point, and free throw percentage last year. Unfortunately, she's also had time on injured reserve, missing 5 games this season due to concussion protocol. She's recently returned, and she will be a player to watch to see how she improves the Sparks' play the rest of the season. Azurá Stevens is the final player to return from last year's team. The 6'6" forward played 20 games last year, averaging 9.6 points and 7 rebounds. Azurá has been notoriously injury-riddled throughout her career, but is actually healthy this season and is playing some of the best basketball we've seen from her in a while. Her current 2025 stats show her with 14.6 points and 8.9 rebounds per game. She's also ranked in the top 20 among the league leaders this season at 10th in field goal percentage, 8th in free throw percentage, 5th in rebounds, and 13th in steals. Now let's turn our attention to the new faces joining the Sparks this season. The result of free agent signings, trades, the draft, and training camp contracts. This is where we really start to see the new makeup of the team this year. The biggest surprise, at least to me in free agency, was the blockbuster 3-team trade between the Aces, Storm, and Sparks. The biggest headline, of course, for the Sparks is the acquisition of guard Kelsey Plum. The deal involved the Sparks trading away their 13th pick to the Aces and the 2nd pick in Lee Giroux to the Storm. In exchange, the Sparks received Kelsey from the Aces and a 9th pick this year and a 2nd-round pick in next year's draft. The 5'8" Southern California native is a 2-time WNBA champion and was the 2021 6th Player of the Year. In 2024, she started all 38 games, averaging 17.8 points and 4.2 assists. Her resume speaks for itself, and she's already making an impact in 2025 for the Sparks, averaging 22.6 points and 5.2 assists through the first 9 games. Kelsey was a league leader in multiple areas last season and is already 1st in 3-pointers made, 3rd in points, 3rd in steals, 6th in assists, and 14th in free throw percentage this year. She's an overly competitive guard whose tenacity and toughness make up for her small size. She's proven to be an excellent addition to this injury-riddled team. Adding to their frontcourt, the Sparks signed 6'6" center Mercedes Russell in free agency to a 1-year deal. coincidentally for reportedly the same $160,000 she made with the Storm. This leads me to believe she wanted to go to a team that better fit her, since it wasn't about the contract. Last season, she averaged 3.9 points and 3 rebounds in 15.8 minutes per game for Seattle. The Sparks are looking for her to impact the paint on both ends with her size and athleticism, although she's only seen about 9.9 minutes per game so far this season. Next, veteran Odyssey Sims is a familiar face returning, signing a one-year deal during free agency. Last season, the 5'8" guard played 24 games for multiple teams, including a significant time with the Sparks on several hardship contracts where she averaged 12.6 points and 5.3 assists, while shooting a career-high 48.3% from the field. Odyssey is a talented and fast guard with a high IQ, who's so far been a bright spot in this year's injured backcourt. So far in 2025, Odyssey is contributing with 12.3 points and 3.6 assists per game, and is ranking in the league's top 25 for assists and three-point percentage. A final interesting addition is 5'8" point guard Julie Allemand. She was actually traded to the Sparks in 2024, but had to opt out of the season with a contract suspension due to injury. Allemand is currently part of the Belgian national team, and has played 2 prior WNBA seasons with Indiana and Chicago, averaging 5.8 points and 4.6 assists. She was also the first player in league history to make the WNBA All-Rookie team after being drafted in the 3rd round. Her potential impact seems to be more defensively driven, as she usually comes off the bench for guard pressure, averaging 18 minutes per game. Moving to the draft with the 9th overall pick, the Sparks selected Sarah Ashley Barker, a 6-foot guard from Alabama. As I mentioned in a previous video, she's seen as someone who can pair well with Kelsey Plum and provide extra shooting off the bench. Her college stats were impressive: 18.2 points, 6.3 rebounds, and 3.9 assists, shooting 51.4% from the field and 37.5% from the three. She's known as a good line driver, a strong finisher, and an aggressive offensive player. With the 21st pick, the Sparks selected 6'3" power forward Sanaya Fagan from the University of South Carolina. Sanaya was a defensive force who fell way too low in the draft, despite being invited to attend. Her college stats might seem quiet at around 8 points and 4.5 rebounds, but she shot over 60% from the field and averaged 1.5 blocks. She's a defensive engine, a glue player who makes the hustle plays that don't always show up on the stat sheet, but are desperately needed. When she gets a real opportunity, it'll be interesting to see how she fits with the team this season. Drafted at number 28, Liadu King, a 6-foot shooting guard, was originally waived and later signed to a rest-of-season hardship contract on May 20th. In a previous video, I've highlighted her potential to assist in rebounding when starters aren't on the court. She averaged 10.4 rebounds in her graduate season at Notre Dame, along with 11.5 points, ranking 17th in NCAA D1 rebounding. This season, she's averaged 10.3 minutes and 2.3 rebounds in 6 games, which is pretty impressive for someone who got thrown into the team last minute. If the Sparks want more rebounds, Liadu is someone to look to. And finally, veteran Emma Cannon was signed to the team after her training camp contract. The 6'2" forward brings a wealth of experience, having played 114 regular season games over 6 WNBA seasons with 4 different franchises, averaging 5.3 points and 3.2 rebounds. She's played for the Mercury, Aces, Sun, and Fever, and she even has WNBA Finals experience, notably scoring 17 points for the Aces in the Finals in 2020. She adds valuable depth and a seasoned presence in the front court. Now that we've reviewed the new additions, let's look at how the Sparks are actually doing this season. So far, it's been a rough start. The Sparks are currently sitting in 10th place with a 3-6 record. They've struggled to find consistency both at home and on the road. Offensively, they're averaging 82.8 points per game, but defensively, they're allowing their opponents to score 83.7 points. I know what you're thinking. If the Sparks have the 5th most efficient offense, why are they struggling? Well, as you dig into the stats to find out why, a few things stand out, and one thing is abundantly clear. The team isn't going to consistently win if Kelsey Plum is shouldering the primary load in points, assists, and steals. Other players absolutely need to step up and contribute more consistently across the board. Offensively, there are some interesting contradictions. The team is actually ranked 4th in the league in field goal percentage, but they're 10th in field goal attempts, which could suggest they might be too selective, not aggressive enough, or just struggling to create enough opportunities. They also rank 5th in three-point percentage as a team, which is efficient, but interestingly, no individual player on the Sparks is currently ranked in the league's top 20 for three-point percentage, meaning no one is shooting above 40%. And while they're 6th in overall points scored, it's clear they need more offensively if they want to win. Defensively and on the boards, there are more significant concerns. The Sparks are struggling in total rebounds and blocks, ranking 12th in both categories. This lack of dominance on the glass is also reflected in their defensive rating, where they rank 10th. Essentially, they're not consistently good at defense, which would explain how they often blow leads. Ball control and discipline are also areas of concern. And while the team is 2nd in the league in steals, opponents are scoring more off turnovers, second chance, and fast break points. They're getting out-rebounded, blocked more, and are having trouble consistently stopping opponents inside the paint. For instance, even though the Aces have one of the worst paint defenses in the league, they dominated the Sparks and held them to one of their worst performances in the paint all season. Another particularly glaring issue is their free throw shooting percentage, where they rank 10th. More critically, they have the worst free throw differential in the league. The Sparks aren't committing the most fouls, but they seem to be fouling good free throw shooters, and their opponents are making significantly more of their free throws, more than any other team, at 88.8%. That's a lot of lost points, and free throws are almost always the difference in a game. So the big question is, with all this going on, is Kelsey Plum making a big difference? The short answer is yes. She's making a huge difference. The long answer is a little more complex. She's undeniably giving them an offensive spark they desperately need. While she's not leading the team in three-point percentage, she's leading them in three-pointers made, showing her willingness to take and make big shots. However, with any good addition, there are some challenges. Defensively, Kelsey can be a liability, and that's been a known issue since her time with the Aces, partly due to her being an undersized guard. This season, she's averaging 3.3 turnovers per game, and while her average of 5.2 assists does help offset this, it's still an area for concern. If the Sparks truly want to win more games and play more consistent basketball, Kelsey and De'Arica can't do it all offensively. And similarly, Azurá and De'Arica's combined 16.3 rebounds per game isn't enough on its own. There needs to be more collective rebounding effort from everyone on the floor, so getting outworked on the glass isn't going to win them any games. Another key will be controlling the tempo. The Sparks need to slow down and play with more control. The sloppier they play, the worse their performance gets. In the games they've lost, they generally have more turnovers and fewer rebounds, especially defensive rebounds, than their opponents. In games that were close, like the one against the Mercury, both teams were matched in turnovers and rebounds, so the loss really came down to the Sparks having lower field goal and three-point percentages. Overall, the Sparks clearly have some growing to do. Yes, they're dealing with a lot of injuries, so it's not time to hit the panic button just yet, but it certainly looks like the Plum Factor, while bringing undeniable offensive talent, is also covering up some of the team's existing issues. Kelsey choosing to be the number one option has looked good for her, and this experience should help her grow her game in areas she probably wasn't able to with the Aces. It's something I'll look forward to seeing as the season progresses. Alright guys, thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and definitely comment below your thoughts on the Sparks roster and how you think they'll do the rest of the season. We'll be back soon with more Kendallville Hoops. Don't forget to spread the knowledge and stay opinionated.